Oh, good for her. Good for her.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Politics and Prose. I'm Brad Graham, the co-owner of the store, along with my wife, Lissa Muscatine. No applause necessary. And we're very pleased, as we always are, with April Ryan, to be hosting her again. This time to talk about her new book, "Black Women Will Save the World," and Anthem. Now, April, of course, has appeared at P&P a number of times, not just for her previous books, but also as a moderator of a series of panel discussions we've been holding since 2015 on race in America. As a longtime journalist, April's reporting has focused on the challenges facing Black Americans, and her new book draws on that experience, combining her own story as a Black woman in the White House press corps with stories about the triumphs and sacrifices of other leading Black women whom she dubs sheroes. You know, heroes with an S, sheroes. Okay. Now, April started covering the White House for American Urban Radio Networks in 1997 and has remained on the beat ever since. She's now the Washington, D.C. bureau chief for TheGrio news website. And you probably see her from time to time also on CNN as a political analyst. In her book, April recounts her own journey from working class Baltimore to Washington's Power Center, and also writes about the accomplishments of other influential Black women, some contemporary, others historical, who've contributed significantly to America's institutions, communities, and families. But for all their successes, April writes, Black women have paid a price, caught in the double bind of racism and sexism. They're continually viewed as underdogs, often marginalized and discounted, and frequently confronted by a range of micro and macro aggressions. April herself, during her years covering the White House under Donald Trump, faced harassment and death threats from people taking issue with the pointed questions she would ask the president. Trump himself called her out on a number of occasions, which only led to more threats. A review in Publishers Weekly praised April's book as forceful and inspired, and Library Journal called it an informative, inspirational work. Reading this book, you're bound to feel both anger at the obstacles that Black women have endured and admiration for how much they've nonetheless achieved. In conversation with April this evening will be Julie Mason, also a veteran journalist with more than 30 years' experience covering local, state, and national politics, including time as a White House correspondent. Nowadays, Julie hosts a morning political talk show on SiriusXM. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming April Ryan and Julie Mason.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight.
I gotta hold my dress.
We have plenty of time for Q&A. So,
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi. Hi, my friend.
Hi, April.
How you doing?
Fabulous. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
Thank you for. It's an honor to have you because you're my friend and you read the book. Do you realize how many people don't read the book when you go and do a book? And Julie has been always that person who makes sure she reads. She reads the book and she finds the most nuanced pieces, and she's just a fantastic person, journalist, and radio host now.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Yes.
I think if your friend writes a book, you got to read it. Those are the rules.
Okay, I like that.
All right, let's get into this. The life of the Black woman is partly characterized by the endurance of inferior treatment, distorted expectations, and an uneasy sense we'll never fully belong.
True.
But I don't want to leave the impression for those in the audience who haven't read your book that it's that your book is a downer. It acknowledges tribulations, but it is an anthem.
It acknowledges reality. It points out reality. It gives you examples of reality from so many Black women who are in lofty perches. It's also a book that's inspiring. It gives you pointers how to change, how to make it's hopeful, but it gives and it's an anthem, as you say. We talk over and over again of a celebration of the achievements of Black women in spite of. You know, the late great Shirley Chisholm. I know many of you are wise in years, and you know that Shirley Chisholm said, for Black women, it's a double whammy, being Black and a woman. And she was the first Black woman to run for president in 1972. Before there was Kamala, before there was Carol Moseley Braun, there was Shirley Chisholm. So, you know, there are realities that we deal with, but we still keep going in spite of, because when we move beyond what's present and push the community forward and speak up, speak out, push, activate, it's about love. It's a love for the community. It's a love to make things better. And when Black women do this, Cornell Belcher from Brilliant Corners, Democratic pollster, he said, you know, there have been studies and polls. Black women do it for the sake of community, out of love. But sometimes when our counterparts do it, it's a little different. It's about power, ego, and
Money. Ka-ching.
cha-ching.
Black women account for 13% of the female population in the U.S. Tell us about
52% of the Black population.
Tell us about Erasure and how that works.
Erasure. Invisibility, erasure, it's kind of all the same thing. You don't exist. You can be in the room. You don't exist. You're not called on. You're not part of. And I think this story kind of goes into Erasure, a story that Valerie Jarrett told me. And the story was about Michelle Obama. You cannot miss Michelle Obama in a room. I'm going to say it again. You cannot miss the very beautiful, tall, statuesque Michelle Obama in a room. Well, Valerie Jarrett and Michelle Obama would leave the bubble of the White House on numerous occasions during those 8 years. And they would walk out into the community. Michelle Obama was, you know, let's move, let's move. That was her thing, right? And she said, I'm going to move. I'm going to leave the White House and I'm going to move. They would walk the mall to the mall. This tall, statuesque woman. People would walk by and didn't even know it was her. No baseball cap, nothing. Just in her regular outfit, invisible. This Black woman who, for all intents and purposes, was a kingmaker along with Valerie Jarrett. If it weren't for Michelle Obama or Valerie Jarrett, Barack Obama would not be president. This woman, a kingmaker, this woman, tall, statuesque, this woman has changed a lot of the dynamic in our life, our social and political life, some of the things she said and done. She was invisible. She was erased from that moment because she was a Black woman. You cannot miss Michelle Obama.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
And
when she did get recognized, it was like J-Lo showed up. People would lose their minds.
Yeah, and then they had to leave. But for the most part, no, seriously, for the most part, they kept those walks because she was not recognized. For the most part, Michelle Obama was walking the mall, you know, very light Secret Service detail because people didn't recognize her. Erasure. It's crazy, right? It's hard to believe, but it's true. When I come, I bring receipts.
I wouldn't have recognized it.
You would have recognized it well? Okay, okay. But the rest of the world who's out on the mall, springtime, wintertime, summertime, and that's a busy space. They didn't recognize her. They didn't pay attention to her because she was a Black woman.
On your book tour for At Mama's Knee, you thought about the need for deeper understanding between Black and white people.
Yeah, I love this room because it's very diverse. And one of the reasons why I asked you is because you are my friend, but a lot of times I sing to the choir. I don't want that. I want us to heal. I want us to get to know each other. I want us to change the dynamic that's in our face every day. And I really, there's so much commonality, but yet everyone feels that we're so different.
When you say we, do you mean black women?
Everyone. There's a commonality with all of us. Mm-hmm. You know, we hurt, we love, we run. Can I get a mint real quick? Uh-oh. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds because I got.
Oh, yeah.
Be right
April's
back.
going to collect herself. If you haven't read the book, it's fantastic. Highly recommend all April's books. And they get successively better, each one. Her first book was great, and then they just keep getting better and better. I first met April at the White House. I was so young and naive, I didn't know anything. And she'd been there covering the White House. She took me under her wing and taught me so much. Really opened my eyes about everything. She's like a guardian angel for all of us at the White House, and she was so well sourced, and she just knew everyone, and she had a hilarious relationship with George W. Bush, which is omitted in this book. I don't know why. At one point in a press conference, he asked her if she was going to name her kid after him. And she was like, no!
Stop telling stories on me.
And then this other time, oh, she's back.
One thing you don't do in a time with the flu and COVID is cough and sneeze. But no, when you talk a lot, your throat gets dry.
Your vocal cords.
Your vocal cords, yes. Thank you.
April, you write in your book that black women are the countervailing force in elections. It seems like every election year there is a section of punditry that says, if black women turn out and vote,
If black women.
right, democracy will be saved.
And we've saved democracy over and over and over
Right?
again.
It's a lot to ask, but I don't think the politics serve black women very well.
No, it doesn't. So let's talk about black women in politics. Let's talk about black women in politics. Let's talk about Roy Moore and Doug Jones in Alabama. Remember that?
God.
Black women saved Doug Jones and saved the state of Alabama.
That's right. Yeah.
Roy Moore was misogynist. He was
Allegedly a pedophile.
He was.
every ist. Every ist that there was. It was Roy Moore. And black women said no more. Black women in what is called the Black Belt because of the richness of the soil. And what had happened, the black women showed up in mass. They were tired of hearing and seeing all of the nastiness about this man who could ultimately take them back to a time that was one of the most ugliest points in the history of the state of Alabama. Think about this. Selma, in 1964-65, you had marches through Selma. What was it called? Bloody Sunday. The Edmund Pettus Bridge, the racist named bridge in Selma, Alabama. These black women said no more. If you take a picture today of Selma, Alabama, it looks just like it did in 1965. A sepia tone picture, if you take a picture of it today. And I tell you from eyesight, I traveled with Barack Obama and other black journalists on the 50th anniversary of the commemoration of Bloody Sunday. Late Congressman John Lewis was alive then, he was there. And your favorite couple, the Bushes. George and Laura Bush were there to commemorate this moment where black people were beaten, white people were beaten. The sting of the hose on the skin, the bite of the flesh from a dog, all for the right to vote across this, and all of this happening as black, white, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, and Catholic crossed that racist named bridge and met up with law enforcement at the base of the bridge. When I went to Selma for that 50th anniversary, I couldn't believe it looked it looked like the land that time forgot. It looked the same, the exact same. And Yeah, and with that, these black women said no more. They rose up and they said they rejected Roy Moore. They voted Doug Jones, and Doug Jones lost the next election, but they said no more. Even as they're still going through efforts to change the dynamic in that community, it still looks the same, but the mentality of black women is I still rise in the midst of, in spite of, I can make a change. Now let's talk about what's happening right now in the state of Georgia. I know, right? I've been in Georgia a couple times this last month. I was riveted to the television watching the most horrific commercials, ads.
All right. On Stacey.
Not just on Stacey, but all of those ads made me sick. But the ones particularly on Stacey Abrams, a black woman who, for all intents and purposes, is a winner, okay? She is a winner. And the reason why she's a winner is because she turned that blood red state blue. They never thought, they discounted her. They never thought that she could do it. She methodically and quietly, she said, oh, I'm going to do this. But she methodically and quietly turned that state blue. And now she is such a threat that they've got so much dark money against her.
Right.
So she will not rise to the governorship.
She won't.
She lost the governorship the first time, and she may lose it this time. No matter if she loses or not, or if she wins, she is considered a threat to some people in this nation because of what she did. That is the power of black women. The power.
And just to put a cherry on top of Doug Jones, he ended up Sherpaing Justice Jackson
Yes.
to the Senate, and that was
Right.
wonderful to see.
Right.
That was a nice kind of a full circle.
It's a full circle moment, and I'll never forget interviewing him, and so many people were like, I forgot all about that. I said, yeah, because I interviewed him as Ketanji Brown Jackson was going through those nasty confirmation hearings. And Doug Jones, you've seen him on C-SPAN, CNN, wherever. He was there along with Mignon Moore and Leah Daughtry, some of the major names in politics. And for him to be Sherpering, as you said, her through, black women saved him, and then he gave back. He gave back because he was asked to, but he understood the uniqueness, and we talked about that. And he felt that it was his duty, and he was honored to do it because he realized what black women did for him.
Can you tell us about the importance of sisterhood, which is something you write about a lot in the book?
The importance of sisterhood. Let me give you examples out of the book, and there's one in particular that really resonates for me. The mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, and she's been under attack politically. Keisha Lance Bottoms, when she was mayor of Atlanta, she was under attack. The mayor of D.C. has been under attack. I mean, just for fighting against Donald Trump, that was a lot. Yeah, with Black Lives Matter Plaza. The mayor of San Francisco, the mayor of New Orleans. When you reach these lofty perches and you don't see people who look like you, you crave for people to talk to. They have a unique understanding of what it's like to be black and a woman under attack in a major city in America. And they would reach out to one another and talk to one another. One might say, oh, they're going after me. Yeah, we're seeing it, but this is how we handled it. It was a commonality of help, support. It was that cushion, And for a lot of black women, we rise in spaces and places and we're alone. And that sisterhood, that common touch, that communal understanding of this moment is something that I don't think people really understand not how necessary it is. Because when you're in a space and you are paving the way, you're the only in a community that society looks already as behind the curve, it means something to come together and speak and talk and have those off the record moments where you can be yourself and say, here's my test, and somebody can give you a testimony to help you out of it.
I'm sure some of the people here are very interested, and I'm also very interested in hearing about the transition from covering Barack Obama to Donald Trump. And I know it was a culture shock for the nation.
It was. You know what? That will always be with me, though, and I am so much more than
Like
those.
COVID.
I got rid of COVID in a month, okay? That lasted for that was actually before and during and after. That was I guess that'll always be a part of my history, and I hate for that, you know? I hate to talk about Donald Trump because he was so, and I'm going to talk about it.
But your journalism, I mean, you really rose to the moment with your journalism. Not everybody did.
Thank you. Thank you. But I've paid a personal price for that. And because of that, Steve Cohen from Memphis, Congressman Steve Cohen, wanted me to testify. But COVID came. Because I wanted to put it out there. But since I didn't get a chance to put it out there, I put it in the book. And there was a tremendous price that I have had to pay, and I still pay for that. I mean, I want to cry right now. Look at what happened to Paul Pelosi. Everyone keeps saying, oh, it's just to intimidate you. It's the death threats and all this just to intimidate you. No, it's not. There was one guy who was arrested on January 6th who came and met me at Politicon in Nashville. They had to pull me off the stage because he was so aggressive. Brandon Strucker. He was arrested, for January 6th.
Well, and that bomber targeted you as well, which
Oh,
I
yes,
didn't realize.
Yeah. I had to keep quiet because I didn't know who to trust. Because if I tell a friend who's a reporter, well, I told some friends who were reporting, they're like, what do you want us to do? I'll tell you who that, yeah, I'll tell you who that is afterwards. And you'll be like, oh, figures, they're like that. But yet, when they got little threats because they wrote a story, oh, I've got a death threat. Oh, they thought it was cute. It was like the thing. Oh, yeah. It became like, yeah, I got a death threat. It was like the cool thing to say. No, it wasn't, okay? Right. When I was saying, I'm getting death threats, what do you want us to do? We can't do anything. But yeah, I've got a death threat. I'm like, it's a badge of honor. No, I was running, okay? Caesar Sayoc sent me a bomb, one of those fake bombs to my home before you heard about the Obamas, CNN, etc. It was pretty bad. It was very bad. FBI's been to my home. I've had the bomb squad at my home in the full bomb gear. Oh, yeah. Because
that must have freaked out your kids.
I'm a mother, a divorced mother, trying to keep my kids happy and well-adjusted. And here I am losing my mind and my hair and trying to keep them happy, saying, oh, yeah, this happened, but we're safe. How do you keep a kid safe when the bomb squad and the FBI are at your house? To tell you, well, we have looked through Caesar Sayoc's things, and if you get something, let us know. I said, I got something for you. I said, I already got it. I said, y'all late. So it's just been, because I raised my hand and asked questions about a community that's underserved, that has the highest numbers of negatives in almost every category, I'm a target. And it's the craziest thing ever. Doesn't make sense.
I thought about it recently when Trump asked you to set up the meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus, which was shocking. Well, I read recently that he had asked a group of young black Capitol Hill staffers to get the hors d'oeuvres at a party.
What?
Yeah, it was in one of the books that came out recently. And I know that was just an incredibly difficult time, but you also write in the book about how it made you rethink your approach to journalism. I thought that was very interesting, and it all brought out something in all of us. We had to have a certain moral clarity.
My clarity was, it came after Sean Spicer told me to stop shaking my head. Because that day I thought I was going to lose my mind. I mean, seriously.
That was an Iran question, or that was?
It was Russia.
Russia.
It was Russia. Oh, thank you. It was a Russia question. It was a question where I said, and it was so benign, but it was a real question. I said, so how is the president going to, change the public perception of this White House in Russia? If I had Russian salad dressing, it would be a minute. And I was like, oh my God. And I did that. He's like, stop shaking your head. Here I am. I'm older than he is. I'm a mother of 2
and
daughters.
smarter.
Yeah, smarter is right, yeah. He really pushed the button. And it's so interesting, if I see him in the street now, he runs. I'm not joking, I'm serious. Because, they did so much dirt at that podium. And if they see you, they feel so self-conscious, they run. And I'm like, hey, Sean, he's like, just, because they're nervous because they know what they did was wrong. They know it was inhumane, immoral. It was everything. It was just ridiculous. And doing that, they put targets on our backs, particularly mine. Me, Jim Acosta, Yamiche. I think Jim and I got it the worst because they were going to try to take my badge away from me. So, it is what it is. But Donald Trump, even if Donald Trump didn't run, the ideology is still there. And now you have people talking about that they're not going to, people are saying that they're not going to trust the elections, and they're going to play the same thing he tried to do. That's why the president is speaking tonight about democracy and who we are as a nation. It's a scary time, especially after I've been through what I've been through, and then to see Paul Pelosi. It's just, I don't know. And then after the January 6th committee hearing, I caught the video of the people running after Mike Fanone, which was crazy. Why are they? It was crazy after the hearing. They were running after Mike Fanone as if he did something wrong. He was there policing, trying to protect the Capitol on January 6th. So anyone who stands for something or asks a question, you're targeted. Who are we? And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. I was targeted. I was called names. Nasty loser. Was worried about my money. I'm like, okay, whatever, but you don't give out your taxes. Matter of fact, the Supreme Court is holding up the taxes again. How about that? What a shock. Maxine Waters was called names. Congresswoman Frederica Wilson was called names. Marsha Fudge, Valerie Jarrett, Susan Rice. And I said, typically, if you don't stand up for something, it sticks. If you don't counter it, it sticks. And I said, I'm not going to let this stick. So that's why I'm writing this book, to bring a whole new light, shed a bright light on the greatness and the fabulosity of Black women and how we rise in spite of. Yes, okay, I see him in the back. Everyone turn around. Yes, right. He's feeling it. Yes. So, and I love when men are in the audience too. I love when we have a diverse audience because the book is so, everyone is reading it and they're like, wow. It gives them something to think about, and it helps them understand a little bit more who we are as a community, as a culture. And it just brings more understanding and more unity versus this stuff that we're going through now.
this was like having a fantastic long conversation with you.
Was
And
it?
It's a wonderful book. Congratulations, April.
you.
Really, really proud of you. So happy for you. Love you.
I can't wait till you write your book.
Oh, fear it.
I
I think we're ready for questions.
Okay,
The
question.
microphone's right here.
Microphone, yes.
Hi, nice to see you. I watched you on The View earlier.
You
this week.
did?
I did. Well, last week, I guess. Yeah.
Everyone liked that view, yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. I like Whoopi. That's
Thank you.
yeah.
I love Whoopi.
My question was, you talked about not really getting support from your colleagues when you were getting the threats, but as a young person who I'm a political science major and I'm questioning whether or not to even go into politics right now because of how violent everything is getting. Did you talk to anybody, or how did you find strength when you were going through those low moments? And
So I'm going to say this. I'm 55 years old, and they didn't teach me this in school. This was not part of the curriculum. It's not covered. Now they need to have a section about how do you handle or how do you get out of tense situations, because reporters are now under attack. And if you espouse or if you do something different than the norm in whatever part of politics you're going, you are targeted as well. You have to have a thick skin. I talked to people who had my best interest at heart. I kind of went inside, and I stayed inside by myself for a long time because it was fight or flight. I was in shock, having to work every day, getting threats, people showing up at the White House as I walked out to try to intimidate me. This was a hot, stinky, steamy mess. And I'm still here. And I'm just like, wow. But what I will tell you is, I wouldn't leave it, but really seriously think about it, really seriously figure out what's what, And I would not leave, but I would really seriously think about what's what. Look at the lay of the land and then figure out from there where you fit in. And if you, I wouldn't give it up. I would not give it up, especially if it's your passion.
And it won't get better without people like you.
Right. It won't get better. It won't get better. You're absolutely right. Hi, come.
Yes.
The gentleman that she was with raised her hand when I talked about. Yes.
Well, good evening,
Good
Ms.
evening.
April Ryan, and good evening to everyone. So I want to say thank you for writing this book. I'm very excited to read it. Thank you for being so candid. I think it's powerful. Thank you for having the courage. So I'm thankful that you're still with us, and I pray that God will continue to protect you.
Oh my goodness, she's getting me all upset. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, no, I appreciate you. We are in crazy times, and we got to pray for everyone. I don't know who we are or where we are, but when you got a crazy musician that's saying the craziness he's saying, I'm not going to put air to it. When you got people running around going after, looking for Nancy Pelosi. You got the President of the United States having to go on TV to say, all right, this is coming in the next couple of weeks. Let's keep diplomacy. Let's keep democracy. Something is wrong. Either way, it's going to be an issue on November 8th. And we have to, we of good mind and good heart have to lead in some kind of way. Even if it's staying indoors and calling people or whatever, just checking on everyone. Going to the polls. I pray that you have done early voting, because going to the poll, yes, I got mine in my purse right now. I'm going to find one of those ballot boxes, drop it in. This is a very tense time. Keep your wits about you and be smart about how you go about your day and your business. And when you speak about what you talk about or what you know, just be very careful. I'm not trying to preach doom and gloom, but we are in this moment right now. Just be very careful. Be very careful.
So I actually do have a question.
Okay. All right. You got us crying now. You got a question, okay?
Yes. So what you've said additionally, it helped me to construct this part of my question. So I wanted to share. I lived in South Carolina for 25 plus years. I've been in the workforce for 35 years. In the state of South Carolina, haven't experienced any microaggressions until I moved here.
Really?
Every job. So I want to ask, because you previously were talking about how you have handled your situations. So collectively, as the audience that's here, could you please share a message to all of us, how we all can handle ourselves in those workspaces, for everyone, both sides, the person who is on the receiving end and the person that may be giving the microaggression. Thank you.
Thank you. Microaggressions are sometimes tougher than the macroaggressions because the small ones, it's like the little nitpicking, and it gets to you. Macroaggressions everyone sees, but those microaggressions, you have to prove them. You have to prove them. What I would say to you, first of all, you have to start with yourself. You have to start with yourself. And when those microaggressions happen for me, and I'm telling you how I handle them, when those microaggressions happen to me, what I would do, I would say, I would have an honest look at myself. What have I done, one, to encourage it? Is it my fault, et cetera, et cetera? And I'd say, no, I would investigate myself before I felt like I needed to take it to another level. And what I came up with is that on my own, and other people were saying, that I was asking questions about a community, an underserved community, that they didn't want to talk about, that they didn't really particularly want to deal with. And it was about me as the potential messenger of these questions for them. But I didn't take it personally because it was bigger than me. I was the symbol to beat down, to show other people, don't ask this. But it didn't work. It didn't work.
And when we found out what was going on with those black farmers, that was a mess. And you were right. You were ahead of everyone on that story because you were asking about it and no one else was talking about it.
Yeah, and now black farmers are back again.
Right.
But yeah, but still there are issues in the black and brown community. These communities have the highest numbers of negatives in almost every category. But when I ask, it's a problem. And I had to go back and reassess, am I asking it the right way? What did I do? Do I have aggression with it? But when I looked and figured out, because it started with me, I had to look at myself. And when I realized I wasn't doing anything wrong and what the situation was, I was able to cope and move forward. I would first do that, start looking inward, have an honest conversation with yourself. Sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror. I'm talking literally standing in the mirror looking at yourself. Every pore, every hair follicle, all of that. And say, did I do the right thing or did I do? And sometimes the answer is hard. But I did that first. And then I began to find people to help me work through this. Because you have to be very careful nowadays, because a lot of these microaggressions, everyone doesn't see. It's only, you can only feel and you can only see. And if you create a stir, you're the problem. You are the problem. So you have to be very careful with the microaggressions, but start with yourself. And then when you realize exactly what it is, and when you're really honest with yourself, that's when I believe you can go out and start talking to people about how to counter it, how to work through it. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, this is what it is. I'm going to keep going anyway. And that's what I did. I hope I answered your question. Thank you. Okay, we got another question. Oh, okay. Hi, don't hurt yourself.
I think I'm the youngest one here.
Okay.
Did you work at the White House, or were you a reporter for the White House?
I worked at the White House as a reporter.
How was it? How do you like it?
I'm the longest serving black female reporter in the history of the White House. First 2 years I hated it. I really did. I didn't want to work there. My late mother said, "You got to," this is back in like 1997 when we still were under those guides, because you know everybody jumps around now to different jobs because no one stays in the job more than 6 months anymore, it seems. So at that time my mother was like, "You've got to stay there, because if you don't stay there for 2 years, people will think you got fired." I was like, oh. It was about what the community would say, not how I felt. And I was like, okay. I stayed there for 23 more years. So it's got its good days and bad days. It's okay. It's okay. Some days are better than others.
Thank you for working in the White House, and definitely keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, come over to the mic. I saw that hand.
Just on the other side of the post.
He's jogging to the mic.
Okay. Hi, April. I started at the White House Press
Yeah.
Corps just a year before you.
I
did.
remember, yeah.
I'm Paul, and
And we have another person from the White House in the back. He's put his hand there. You see Ed? You see? He's got his hand. Hey, Ed. And a camera. Hey, Paul.
hi. I'm glad to see you're still doing it. Just to follow on the last question, what could the rest of the press corps do to be more supportive of you? What could we have done back then, and what could be done now?
Paul, thank you. What could have been done, honestly, I told you some of it, but I didn't get into it. What could have been, I think our association, the White House Correspondents Association, we should have, now everyone is taking it more seriously, but I think at that time there should have been more of a stance that this is not acceptable. But when you have a bully as the president, what do you do? A bully as the press secretary, what do you do? Because we work with them. So I guess they felt like they were caught up. But I think if people would have stood up.
There needs to be more black White House reporters.
There does need to be more black White House reporters. But still, even if there were, sometimes, oh, leave her alone. She gets death threats. Leave her alone. They single you. It's a weird dynamic. But it happened to the right person because I was able to stand. I don't think other people would be able to, if they had to deal with what I had to deal with, I don't think they could. But I think, Paul, there is a whole different dynamic now. It's unfortunate it took all of this, but I'm telling you, if the tables turn, what do we do now? How do we protect one another? How do we protect reporters? You got 299 candidates, GOP candidates on the ballot that are election deniers. And let's start there. So with that, how do you police against that? It's going to be hard. It's going to be so hard. It's going to be very hard. So I don't know. I'm glad I'm still here. One thing I was told by the members of the Congressional Black Caucus that I didn't get a meeting for, they did say the way to stay safe is to talk about it, be loud about it. And that did save my life. Because if I kept keeping it quiet, people wouldn't have known. So I kept talking about it and putting it out there. So, because if anything happened to me, like, oh, So I will be the first one to scream about it. But I tell you what, too, my head is on a swivel. And that's a bad way to live. You're always looking behind you. I don't, And if I see somebody I don't know, I'm like, okay, I'm looking real hard. It's very interesting.
April, one of the things you write about is the change is what's next. And at the end you talk about, you list some different ways of thinking and looking at black women and thinking and treating black women, sort of a call to arms, if you will.
Yeah, but not just a call to arms for black women, but it's about sisterhood, it's about community, but it's also about giving voice to this book for everyone to read and to understand what the community should look like together. Because we celebrate, black people, we are such an open group of people. We welcome everyone in. We welcome everyone. We celebrate everyone. But in this moment, you know, I said it's time to celebrate black women. It's long overdue. And it's not just about Ketanji Brown Jackson being on the Supreme Court or Kamala Harris or Karine Jean-Pierre. It is the moment now that we need to celebrate, period. And because we do extraordinary things in spite of. And what I do is, in the book, I start talking about our young girls. You know, we have to start bringing our young girls into the fold and stop. We have to really look at the truth about what is happening to our young children, our young black girls. Because right now, black women are the most educated in our community. But when you have young black girls who are policed more than any other group, as children, expelled and suspended from school, how are we going to get to that level again? I mean, because it's happening now. Will we be a community that still has women as educated as they are in the percentages if we are having this policing happening right now? And a lot of our young girls, too, they have to deal with a lot more adult issues than they had before. That's one of the call to arms. And the call to arms, you know, is just basically coming together, celebrating ourselves, taking time too, because we're not the workhorse. We keep going and going and going. For whatever reason, we think that, you know, we're the superwoman because they need me in the home, they need me at the church house, they need me in the workhouse, and I don't take time for myself. You cannot keep giving unless you take a moment. There's a thing called the nap ministry. I thought it was crazy, but I get it. I'm serious. It's called the nap ministry. You need to restore, rejuvenate, rest so you can go back out there and fight again. Rejuvenate, restore. Find that center. And that is kind of the mission forward. And I am my sister's keeper. No, I am my sister. We work together and we push the ball forward. We're going to continue. And it stems from this mindset of I'm strong, I'm independent, I'm by myself because this is the way it's been structured. And I'm going to tell you, and one of the reasons why we have this call to arms, because we're also trying to break a cycle. And that cycle is black women have been doing the extraordinary since we came to this nation in chains as slaves. Think about it. When we were placed on the plantations, they took our men from us. And we had to stand alone, generation after generation after generation after generation. We were not allowed to have our men in our homes. So in our community, I come from strong women. My mother was strong, my grandmother was strong, her mother was strong. It keeps going, and there's a reason why. So this is why we pause for a moment to celebrate the greatness of black women. Stacey Abrams, Ketanji Brown Jackson, all of these, Marsha Fudge, Maxine Waters, who gave the call to action about January 6th, and nobody listened. That's in the book. We sound the alarm. We have, we are, and we will. But it's time to celebrate us as we do it.
April Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming here. Oh, we have another question.
One more question.
Yes, thank you. My fiance wanted me to ask you, Ms. Ryan, can you expound on the current Supreme Court case
on affirmative action?
Yes.
A synopsis of a synopsis as we're closing. There's a lot of stuff before the court right now. We've seen this. Look, when we were in the Bush administration years, they had the University of Michigan. Remember that? Yeah, we had. So this is not new, but now it's Harvard and UNC. It goes 2 issues on affirmative action in admissions. If they roll this back, if they stop allowing it, okay, because what is it? Amy Comey Barrett says, oh, I think has affirmative action now run its course? Right. If there is a rollback of affirmative action in this, it will not just be about affirmative actions in college admissions. It has tentacles in other spaces. It has tentacles in other spaces. So the rollbacks of a lot is happening, and we'll find out between now and, was it July 1st?
I mean, we know what they're going to do. We know what they're going to do.
You said it, I didn't.
Nah, well, we know what they're going to do.
We are in a whole different day, guys. We're in a whole different day, and the question is right now, how will you handle it? It's not about what we do. We're going to do what we do. We're going to talk, and we're going to put the issues out there. We're going to present the issues, but how will you handle it? Because they listen to you. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. The more you squeak, the more they listen if you do it consistently and persistently. We're going to keep doing what we do, but the question is, they watch you. They really watch how you respond. It's left up to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.